This is Glasgow Rangers Nation. I'm Owen James, and this is all your latest Rangers transfer news. Guys, I have been trawling the papers, trawling the media, trawling the social media, trawling the X, trawling everything while I was waiting outside of my daughter's school, waiting for her to get her GCSE results this morning, waiting for it to come out. So time to trawl and find out as much as I can about what is going on at the club. Now, with just 8 days, that's 8 days, guys. I must 160, 100 and some hours. My maths has let me down again. So 192 hours left of this transfer window. As this transfer window dwindles down to nothing, Rangers appearingly, it is starting to hot up on the window, as it always seems to do as we come to the end of the window. You remember those days of Jim White on the Sky Sports on the transfer window specials, and all those people leaning out of Land Rover and Range Rover windows, people hanging around outside training grounds on deadline days. It appears that all that will be coming back very soon to a screen near you. So let's talk Rangers. Let's talk arrivals. Well, possible arrivals. We haven't got any through the door yet, so possible arrivals. We're also going to talk possible departures as well. Rumours, stories, everything swirling at a pace at this moment in time. The big story that is emerging in the last sort of 24 hours, and this is being reported not only by Rangers media sources, Scottish media sources and English media sources. This is also being reported by Blackburn Rovers fan sites as well, is regarding Rangers Welsh winger Rabbi Matondo. Now, Matondo never really has lived up to what we expected. I think was what we expected with Rabbi when we signed him. Rabbi is a player at one time that went for a massive transfer fee from Manchester City, to Schalke. But stories this morning emerging that Blackburn Rovers are interested in signing Rabbi Matondo. These are two of the fan sites that I've found on X. This obviously links in as well to what the media reports. It's not just fan sites. Ewood Park's finest, Rangers ace destined to sign for Blackburn report. And the other one there, Rangers winger Rabbi Matondo looks destined for Blackburn Rovers. Now, Matondo was one of those names that was mentioned when those 5 senior players were featured, in terms of the 5 senior players that were looking to be pushed out by the end of the window. A reminder of those names was Hagi, Cantwell, Davis, Wright and Matondo. It now appears that name Matondo is 100% correct, and that Blackburn Rovers are in pole position to actually secure him, which is good news. If we can get in a fee for him, if we can get in a salary for him, then that is a real bonus. I think not salary, get his salary off our books. Sorry, I think that would be a real big thing for Rangers. It would enable us to go out and sign more players. It would enable us to go out and get some more names in, and certainly some of those names that appear to be getting linked with the club at the moment, which we will be coming on to very, very shortly. So Rabbi Matondo to Blackburn Rovers looks a real goer and looks a strong possibility. There was literally no truth in the Leeds rumours. Leeds have signed a 23-year-old winger, apparently, or in the verge of signing a 23-year-old winger today or tomorrow. So the whole Matondo thing looks to be just a whole load of rubbish. But it does look like this Blackburn Rovers link is the real thing, and Matondo could well be on his way. Matondo has had some great moments for the club if it is that he's going to leave. I mean, the equaliser in the 3-3 with Celtic at Ibrox last season, the goal against PSV at Ibrox in the qualifier, some top moments from Rabbi. And, Rabbi is a player who's flattered to deceive all of his time here. He's had moments when he's been looking fantastic and other moments when he's looked very average. Moments when it looks like his feet and his legs work faster than his brain, and other moments when he just looks a different class. If it is that Rabbi does move on to Blackburn, I hope that it is for a good fee, and I hope that we wish it, Adam. We do wish him all the very best if that happens. Okay, so other news stories swirling around this morning around departures. Todd Cantwell is the latest name. Now, Todd Cantwell has cut an increasingly frustrated figure, apparently, and there was a very cryptic Instagram story that came out yesterday from Todd, what again? This was believed to be possibly a poke at the fans. So goes the story that it was Todd was. Put out a story where he was showed a picture of one fan on his own, and then obviously loads of fans. So the support and the congratulations. Some people believing this could have been a cryptic hit at Rangers fans who have been obviously criticising him over recent weeks. That, you know, when times are good, they're always behind you, but when you need support from them, they're not there. That is what has been interpreted as. I don't know. I mean, we all know that Cantwell's cryptic social media stuff is often very strange, and we do know the boy needs to stay off social media to some extent, and that if he does go to a new club, that he stays away from social media to give himself the best possible chance to be successful. So the stories that are doing the rounds this morning are that Trabzonspor are looking at possibly are strongly coming back in for Cantwell. That is the story that is coming out of Turkish media this morning. Now, we all know that any stories that come out of Turkey are to be treated with a little bit of a, a little bit of, what's the word I'm looking for? Caution. They're they're always hyping up, aren't they, stories with their big clubs and their big clubs being linked to stars from all across Europe. And it appears, obviously, that there could even be a story in this one that Cantwell is on the verge of moving to Trabzon. There was another media story, which I think is very spurious, which I think was just people creating mischief of linking Cantwell to Nottingham Forest in the Premier League. I think this is a very, very unlikely link. I think this is just a case of people saying, oh, well, Ross Wilson's there. Ross Wilson was part of, before he left, the organisation that bought Cantwell to Rangers for free. Could it be that he's looking to bring in Cantwell to Nottingham Forest? I don't see that one as a goer on this occasion, but it does look like there is a growing interest in Turkey, in Trabzonspor, to the signing of Cantwell. Now, look, Todd Cantwell at no point has refused to play for Rangers. It very much is an exile that has been imposed on him by Philippe Clement. Clement isolating him to the B team, refusing to pick him for the A team, refusing to allow him to train with the A team. I know there are some fans that don't want him anywhere near the A team training. There are some fans that think that we should be playing him and still be using him, given the fact we're paying him £25,000 a week. However, with this story now hotting up that he could be on his way to Turkey, that, you know, it is perhaps the end of that debate. And I certainly hope that this story is settled sooner rather than later. You don't want this sort of thing hanging over you. You don't want a situation where we come to the end of this window and Cantwell is still here and still being a distraction to both the team and the fan base, which he will be, because no doubt social media will be active. He will be on that. And no doubt there will be, if results are not going well, and if we still haven't got a number 10 at the club, that there will be a growing noise within the fan base to actually use him, Hagi as well, if he's still here. So look, I mean, if it is true that this is a story, this is a goer, let's hope that Trabzon is the place that he goes and he does end up. Like I said, I don't think there's much truth in the Nottingham Forest in for Cantwell story. I think that is just people creating mischief, if I am being honest. The Ianis Hagi to Rapid Bucharest story is still on the go. That is another one that is being talked about. Again, this is a player we do need off the wage bill. You know, if it is that Ianis is not part of Philippe Clement's plans, which does seem very much the case. It does seem like, that Clement doesn't want him under any circumstances, even though, the situation is that to some extent, Hagi has kind of reined back on this and said, that he does actually want to stay at Rangers and fight for his place, and said his performances for the B team and the effort he's been putting in reflects that. But it's interesting, isn't it, that it does seem that the whole thing with Hagi and the inability to use him is, because of this £6,000 pay rise that he could get if he makes one more Rangers appearance, which personally I think is very short-sighted of the club and absolutely ridiculous reason to not play him. However, in his native Romania, his father has now waded into the argument. Again, we all know that Georgie loves to interfere in his son's career. Georgie Hagi has said that, in his opinion, he said a move to Rapid is not the right move for his son. Georgie Hagi said, Ianis has consulted me, but I asked him to consider staying with a team abroad. So it does look like it is a situation where he is not going to join Rapid Bucharest, that his father is against this, that his father and his agent are both now counselling him and saying that a move back to his native homeland is not a good thing for the player. And, given the fact that, yes, Rangers may accept a bid for him, but as we've seen with the Cyril Dessers situation, where Dessers turned down a $6 million move to Atlanta United, very selfish of him, in my opinion. That money could have been reinvested into the squad, could have got us at least a couple of players, one of those being a striker. 6 million for a 29-year-old would have been a bargain, but hey. But it does seem like Ianis Hagi will not return to Romania, and he is, like I said, being told not to go there. So even if Rangers were to accept a bid from Rapid, Ianis Hagi is likely to say no to that move. So that looks like, it is a dead situation in that case and will not go ahead. The big fear, obviously, amongst the supporters and amongst the club will be that post August the 30th, we are still stuck with Hagi and Cantwell. These are moves that we do need to try and push through. The board and their agents need to actively push this and get these moves done and dusted ASAP. So, in terms of incoming moves now, there is discussions apparently ongoing between Rangers and Dundee teen sensation, a guy called Sebastian Lockhead, who has been on the bench for Dundee this season. He's a 16-year-old. This would not be a move for the first team. This would be a move to put into the under-18s and the B team, but he is seen as being an absolutely sensational player, one for the future. I don't know what you're thinking. You're thinking we don't need more players for the future, but it does look like Rangers at the same time as undertaking an overhaul of their first team are also looking at supplementing and building on the academy, the under-18s, the B team, etc., etc. Sebastian Lockhead is, like I said, 16 years old. He is a defender. He is, he's a midfielder. My apologies, misread that. He's a midfielder. Very, very, very highly rated. On the same degree as Alfie Hutchinson, the youngster we signed from Hearts, who's gone straight into, obviously, our B team and under-18 setup. However, it's said that Rangers are fighting against Wolves, Burnley, Fulham and Norwich for his signature. 2 Championship and 2 Premier League clubs also interested in the very talented Scottish youngster. You've got to figure that if English clubs are coming a-calling, that this lad is well worth the fight and well worth trying to bring to the club. So Sebastian Lockhead, another name to look out for and to keep on top of for Rangers. Now, in terms of moves into the first team, there continues apparently to be an ongoing negotiation and ongoing interest in Salernitana left-back Domagoj Bedaric. He is still said to be very much on the agenda at Rangers. This is apparently the fact that he is apparently surplus to requirements at Salernitana, and they will part company with him. Reports in Italy do suggest that the Serie B team, Salernitana, are keen to get some money back for this player to recoup this cash before the transfer window closes. Il Mattino in Italy reports that the asking price has been dropped from €5 million to €2 million. So the transfer fee that was initially been asked for Bedaric was 4.2 million. It is now only 1.7 million. However, they are apparently looking to sell him rather than loan him out. Now, it is initially felt that at this moment in time, with the lack of exits from Rangers, that any moves will be loans with options to buy, given the club's lack of disposable finance at this stage. However, if they do want Bedaric, it does appear that they're going to have to speculate to accumulate. The Rangers are apparently being rivaled by Italian side Cagliari for Bedaric, and Bedaric apparently is to be considering his options, but it does appear that he is very much on the Ibrox target list before August the 30th. That's Domagoj Bedaric, the left back from Salernitana. Just going over what we said this morning on this morning's video. Also rumoured to be on the radar of Rangers is Martin Carvalho Neto. As I mentioned on the video this morning, he is a central midfielder who specialises in playing CDM. He is a number 6, a sort of guy who wins the ball, sets the agenda, pushes the team forward, sets a very aggressive forward-thinking agenda, uses the ball well, breaks up attacks. Very much the type of player that we are looking for. Rangers do need a more fluid midfield. They need to, certainly if we're going to compete with that lot across the city, develop that fluid midfield to add to the likes of Barron, Diamande, Raskin, for example. Certainly the likes of Tom Lawrence, Kieran Dowell, et al. Have struggled and are not really proving anything or pulling up any trees at this moment in time. So someone like Neto would certainly be a very, very good purchase for Rangers. Again, this would be a loan with an option to buy. However, the transfer fee for Neto is not thought to be prohibitive, around €3.5 million, which is around £3 million. So not a huge fee for the player. So that one is still very much in the development phase, still very much been looked at, and Rangers apparently have made inquiries about Neto and are looking at the possibility of bringing him in. He was on loan at Gil Vicente last year. At this moment in time, it's not known whether Rangers have any competition for his signature. The other player who is been linked with a move to Rangers from Benfica, yes, it seems we are going Portuguese shopping at this moment in time, is Tiago Gouveia. However, this one is thought to be less likely. Gouveia is a winger, can play left wing or right wing. Gouveia, as I reported yesterday, is a right-footed right winger, revolutionary in this day and age where we seem to have left-footed right wingers and right-footed left wingers. A guy who's played in the Europa League, a guy who's played in Portugal, a guy who's played a lot of his football for Benfica, has made first-team appearances. Now, however, it is reported that Gouveia is very frustrated at his lack of first-team opportunities at Benfica and is seeking a move away from the club. However, according to reports in Portuguese media this morning, Benfica will only sanction a departure for Gouveia if they can find a replacement for him. They see him as a vital member of their squad and certainly a player they like to have to rotate in and out and sub on and off from their team. Now, according to reports in Portugal, Villarreal of La Liga and Anderlecht of the Belgian Pro League are also interested in Gouveia. Villarreal, obviously, one of the top Spanish sides these days, and Anderlecht, one of the top Belgian sides still. Now, why Gouveia is thought to be less of an option for Rangers is the fact that if Benfica are looking to allow him to go at this stage, they are looking for 7 to 10 million euros, which is about 6 to 9 million pounds. Villarreal and Anderlecht apparently want to buy the player, whereas Rangers only want to loan with an option to buy. So it may be that Benfica do actually see Rangers as a more attractive option. A loan, they get him back in a year. They maybe say that there's no option to buy anymore, and they keep him, or that that they wait. They do want to wait a year and see if they can get that replacement for him, and then obviously weigh up that replacement and see if that replacement is good enough to replace Gouveia. If he isn't, then they say to Rangers, "Well, we're not prepared to sell Gouveia anymore." So this is all sort of very much up in the air, very much still being discussed. But it does appear that Rangers, Villarreal, and Anderlecht are all interested in Tiago Gouveia. The other deal that is a negotiation that is still ongoing that appears to be more likely is the deal for Croatian winger stroke 10 Joseph Brekalo, a guy who plays right wing, left wing, can play as a 10, has done a 10 role in his previous with Torino. However, has played most of his career on the left wing as a right footer cutting in. Now, left winger is seen as a position of need for Rangers, given the injuries to Cortez. Now, it does seem a bit of a worry that we seem to be just concentrating at the moment trying to sign players for players who've already signed who are injured now. Brekalo is thought to be available for around €3.5 million. It does appear that that deal would again be another loan with an option to buy. Now, options to buy obviously are always dodgy because, the problem there is unless you agree a set fee within that option to buy, which is unlikely, it's an obligation to buy, you find the player comes to you, suddenly plays very well and becomes a very attractive option to other teams who offer more money than you can offer, and then you lose out on the player. So look, I think it's one that we perhaps need to get over the line on a permanent basis. But Bracalo still appears to be very much on the radar for Rangers. Well, that's all the latest I have at this moment in time in terms of transfer news reports. It does appear to be hotting up. We'll try and stay all over it here on the channel, guys. Thank you for watching. Please smash that sub, ring the bell. It's the best way to keep on top of all the transfer news, all the reports, all the rumours, all the gossip. Let me know what you think of the stories we've covered in the video in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, on the way out, please smash that like. And remember, we are the people.